Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with me, Salailo Makwidiri, and we'll now be having a really interesting and very, very important conversation. While the world screams for Palestine, there's another people right here on the continent who are starving, who are being oppressed, who are having their lands being taken over in what for 50 years has been, well, Africa's last colony. Morocco has occupied Western Sahara with the help of the EU and US weapons, while the African Union watches and eats crumbs from Rabat's table. Today, we confront the shame of our continent with my guest, His Excellency, Western Sahara Foreign Minister, Mr. Mohamed Yeslem Beissat. He's joining us via our virtual platform. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us. It's really a pleasure having you on Salam Media, and really appreciate you giving us your time.
All the pleasure is mine. Thank you very much for having me on platform. Thank you so much.
I think we can just kickstart the conversation with the basics. When it comes to the African Union, the way the issue of Western Sahara and how it has been handled 50 years now, where can you say we are currently? Where are we? What's the status regarding the AU and Western Sahara?
As the situation stands for today, the situation, Morocco occupy more than half of the territory of Western Sahara. United Nations is there, the mission of United Nations to organize a referendum. Sahrawi Republic and the Kingdom of Morocco are two members of the African Union. There is the resolution of Johannesburg of silencing the guns that asking Sahrawi Republic and Morocco as a two-member state of the African Union to enter in a direct negotiation to reach a ceasefire that can lead to the celebration of the referendum. This is the standing position of the African Union. Of course, Morocco is saying no, African Union is irrelevant. This is the exclusive work of United Nations, and I'm only ready to give a sort of a Bantustan. Actually, it's worse than the Bantustan because, as you may recall, apartheid South Africa offered a Bantustan that has foreign affairs and have defense force. The Bantustan Morocco is ready to offer is worse than the apartheid offer, actually.
I want to touch on, South Africa. Our country has been very, very vocal when it comes to, our solidarity with the people of Western Sahara. You've spoken about, the Johannesburg Accords and the agreements that have been made there. But a lot of activists here in South Africa are still trying to hold our government accountable. The AU recognizes Western Sahara as a state. South Africa recognizes Western Sahara as a state, but you still have a situation where our very own government still does business with Morocco, still does trade with Morocco. How do you react to this? Morocco is your occupier, yet you have people that claim they're in solidarity with Western Sahara, still doing business with them. Is this solidarity or hypocrisy?
When South Africa was under apartheid yokes, there were two groups in the then AU. Group of sanctions, which was Sahrawi Republic member of, and there was a group, we call them the group of constructive engagements, which was Malawi, Senegal, and some other countries who are having some relations with apartheid South Africa, thinking that the constructive engagement can lead to a solution. It's a thing to try, but you have to evaluate it. Morocco mustn't have a free hand. After some time, we have to analyze, is this constructive engagement making Morocco more realistic and more willing to cooperate with international legality and to implement the standard resolution? Or is this constructive engagement making Morocco more aggressive and more arrogant and more in defiance of African legality, of international legality? There is a ruling of the African Court of Justice, Human Rights and People's Rights. There is a ruling from the International Court of The Hague. There is a ruling from the European Court of Justice. Besides the decisions of all the institutions. Morocco cannot continue to defy the world, cannot continue to ignore the African Union, please, cannot continue to use the reasonable position of African countries. And actually, we have to ask Morocco to check, ask Morocco for the account. His membership of the African Union comes with obligations. Is Morocco respecting those obligations? Is Morocco in compliance with the Constitutive Act of the African Union? Is Morocco in compliance with the resolution of the African heads of states? That's the question that we need to start asking Morocco.
No, definitely. I want to touch on, the true and lived experiences of the people of Sahrawi. It is not that documented. You don't switch on the TV every day and see images and stories coming out of Western Sahara as you would maybe do with, maybe Gaza and the DRC and everything else that's happening across the world. And we rely mostly on speaking to the people of Western Sahrawi on.
Actually,
Yes.
I'm very sorry to say that Morocco is worse than Israel when it comes to allowing the media in. Western Sahara occupied part is totally militarized. No journalist is allowed there. No international observers are allowed there. He is kicking out European parliamentarians, African parliamentarians. He refuses the visit of the Commission of People's Rights and Human Rights of the African Union. He refuses to cooperate with the Peace and Security Council of the African Union. He didn't allow them to visit. He closed down the office of the African Union in our capital city. Every journalist who wants to come to investigate is denied the access to the territory. While Morocco become a student of Israel. Now today, as we speak, the biggest ally of Israel is actually Morocco in terms of the biggest client. Morocco bought from Israel more than $2 billion last year in satellites and spying software and industry of repression, what we call industry of repression, which is spyware on your telephone, spyware in the satellite, and armament, anti-riot and armament to be used by their army, including drones. That they are killing not only Sahrawis, but even Mauritanians and Algerians who are the neighboring countries of the country. Morocco become a small Israel in North Africa with the same defiance of international legality, the same excessive use of repression and excessive use or killing our judiciary processes. Today, the biggest partner and the biggest client of Israel is actually the regime of Morocco.
I want to focus on the plundering, really. I don't think there's a better word to use. The plundering of the resources of Western Sahara. You have EU ships that are docking, stealing Sahrawi fish on an almost daily occasions. You have Morocco that's selling your phosphate. If you can just unpack that for us, the
yes, it's
continued stealing of your resources. Yes.
It's always classic situation. Morocco is in Western Sahara not because national pride or claims. It's there because of greed. It's there to plunder and to steal the Sahrawi resources. Morocco took us to court. He lost. Took us to the international court. He lost without even our presence. He took us to everywhere and he lost. And he keep losing every single court case in the four corners of the world. What Morocco is there is to steal and to plunder and to offer our natural resources to anyone. To Israel, they just gave them Israel right to prospect for petrol and gas on our offshore. He gave our fish to the European Union, to Japan, to many other partners. And he doesn't ask for big price because the thief, whatever price he sells, he's always making profit. Now they are trying to sell our rare materials in the tropic amount just of our costs to Spain. It's negotiating with Spain on our rare materials in our offshore, be it phosphate, be it gold that being shipped to Emirat, be it diamond and gold that is shipped to Emirat almost in a daily flights, be it phosphate, be it the agriculture, the bioagriculture that is that is grown up in Western Sahara with the underground non-sustainable waters, the excessive, illegal and shameful use of water to do tomato, avocado, and cherry to be sold in the European markets in a total plunder of the natural resources. So every resource that Morocco can find in our country, he offered to the first one he find, because his time there is counted. It's the same behavior the apartheid South Africa behaved in Namibia the last 10 years of their existence, because they know they are in a hurry, they are rushing to steal whatever they can find in their way before they are called to leave.
I want to touch a bit on Algeria and the paradox that it almost presents. You have some people of the Western Sahara that are in Algerian refugee camps, but again, you have another country, Algeria in this instance, that has just signed a 3 billion gas deal with Morocco. Is there a feeling and a thought that the people of Western Sahara are used as a bargaining chip in their pipeline wars, and Algiers itself trying to find influence and to grow its own economy?
I don't see Algeria doing any deals with Morocco. It's the contrary. The diplomatic ties are cut, the frontiers are closed between Algeria and Morocco, and Algeria keeps speaking loudly in every occasion, asking Morocco to respect the international legality in Western Sahara. I'm not sure of the information you are checking. You need to check it again. There is no trade between Morocco and Algeria at this time, and there is no any sort of cooperation, commercial or economic cooperation between the two countries. It's the contrary. Algeria is actually complaining from Morocco behavior that they are bringing Israel to their western frontiers, endangering their security and endangering the cooperation in the region. We see Morocco is being excluded, where Algeria is trying to the Maghreb Union with Tunisia and Libya, where with the total absence of Morocco. Morocco is increasingly in the region isolated, which eventually will lead to its isolation on the continental and international stage.
No, definitely. Just to correct myself, there was, as you mentioned, the breakdown of diplomatic relations between Algeria and Morocco. This was back in August 2021, where Algeria decided not to renew that 25-year MGE operation contract. And yeah, you're making a very, very important point about Algeria and cutting its diplomatic ties with Morocco. Do you think more countries should be doing that, continue to isolate Morocco, and why haven't we seen actions like that of Algeria?
Exactly. No, there are many countries in the world that they don't have diplomatic relations with Morocco because of their illegal occupation of Western Sahara. There are many countries in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, and especially in Latin America, where Morocco is seen as a country that occupies another country, that defy the international legality, that oppress people, that violate human rights, and steal the natural resources. This trend must continue, and the example of those countries and Algeria must continue and must be widened. Morocco must be isolated, sanctioned, till they comply with international legality in Western Sahara.
let's talk about the state of the resistance in Western Sahrawi. Is it still ongoing? What's the
Yes,
status when it comes to that? Do you still have people in the front lines?
yes. Since 20 to November 2020, and the retaliation to Moroccan expansion of its occupation of our land, we retaliate in a self-defense, legitimate self-defense against Moroccan occupation. So since then, the Sahrawi army and the Moroccan army, and in a daily engagement on the long front of the Bir Mal, which is 2,700 kilometers. So there is a military war, there is a war. Morocco tried to hide it, saying there is no war. But we heard in last General Assembly the Prime Minister of Morocco asking for a ceasefire. We've seen also the minister from time to time speak to the ceasefire, and even they're asking the mediator, the Mistura, to say we need a ceasefire. So they are in a contradiction. In one way, they say there is no war, and in the other hand, their main demand from international community and from United Nations is to reach a ceasefire. Today, the debate about ceasefire, Morocco wants a ceasefire as one single agenda, as the only point in the program. By Sahrawi Republic, we see, yes, we agree on the ceasefire, but as a part of wider arrangement of political solution, the liberation of political prisoners, the repatriation of refugees, the containment of troops, and the celebration of a referendum. Without a whole range and all elements of the settlement, Morocco cannot choose and pick one single agenda of the ceasefire. Yes, ceasefire is important, but it's important as part of a plan, not as one single agenda item as Morocco wishes.
Mm, mm, mm. What are the key objectives that the Republic, the Sahrawi Republic, will be focusing on this year that the people of the world and the people of the continent need to know and need to start supporting?
We are intensifying our. Morocco is trying through his own interpretation of American position that he almost celebrated that he solved the problem, but we are trying to focus on Morocco and his friends are advocating for autonomy. We are they have their proposal plan. We have our proposal plan. So let's sit down and negotiate the two plans, put them on the table and discuss. But uh, what revealed the bad faith of the government of Morocco, that instead of speaking about a solution, as he said to his partners, he is trying to defamate Polisario and label it in a very big campaign that goes to Croatia, to Moldova, to United States. Well, they are not the partners that they can solve the solution. The one party who can sit with Morocco to solve the problem is the Sahrawi Republic, is the Polisario Front. So instead of Morocco wasting their time running the four corners of the world, trying to sell these Bantustan proposal, there is a short way. Go to your neighbors, the Sahrawi Republic, sit with them and discuss with them. It doesn't serve any purpose to continue wasting your resources on lobbies and to pay
Mm,
some journalists to have a piece here, to have a piece there, to bribe a politician to say one declaration. Morocco, 50 years doing that. That's not the way. Your partners, the second one in tango is your neighbor, the Sahrawi Republic. So please uh, make economy for your resources, make economy for your time, sit to your neighbors, to the Sahrawi Republic, speak to them, and let's solve the problem.
mm, 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 mm. You touched on something that is very, very important, Your Excellency. Fact that Morocco is almost taking a page out of Israel's playbook, and one of the ways that they are doing that is through propaganda.
Mhm.
And if there's a message that's been very coming out strongly is the fact that the youth of Western Sahara themselves are not even interested in Western Sahara anymore. They all have ambitions of going to Europe, going to Spain, going to France, and there's no people on that land that want to stay in it. How true is this? Is the youth
Well,
still in
at
touch
least
with their land? Do they want to stay and fight?
at at least he say there is a Sahrawi youth. That's a progress
Mm,
in their propaganda. We thought we don't exist in the
mm,
Moroccan mind. We don't exist not as a youth or as a military. At least today they are saying we have a youth. The other
mm,
day they were saying we have an army in Syria. They would say we don't have an army, we don't have a state. So how come this inconsistency of Moroccan propaganda is laughable? From one side, we don't exist, we don't have a war, we can't do anything. In the other hand, we have an army of 6,000 or 600 in Syria. From how we don't have a youth, there is no refugees, there are only sequestrate, kidnapped people. And so now he's saying the youth want to go to Europe. In one day, he said, I think Morocco need to face the reality in front of 50 years. He is denigrating the Sahrawi, dehumanizing them, insulting them. Morocco should start to try another language. It's not insults and is not accusation and without denial of the reality. Morocco need to face the reality at hand and be consistent with the reality on the ground. Sahrawis, that bel et bien exist, and they have their army, and they are determined, and they are stubborn, and they are resilient. We are there on our land. We will fight for our rights, our legitimate rights. It can any president go do declaration to Morocco. It can any country support Morocco, but that isn't what Western Sahara belongs to its people, to the
mm,
people of Western Sahara. And only the people of Western Sahara can speak about the future of Western Sahara. Not America, not France, not Israel, not any country of the world. Morocco wants Western Sahara. He must ask the Sahrawis through regular, organized, concrete referendum of self-determination. Otherwise, they will keep going around, and repeating the same propaganda that can win them a week or a month or a year, but it cannot solve their problem.
mm, mm, mm. And just in closing, Your Excellency, a message to South Africans, people that go out to protest at different embassies, people that go out to try and put pressure on our very government to try and do a bit more when it comes to tackling the issue of Western Sahara and the continued oppression of its people. What do you have to say to them?
I want to greet them. We are very happy for the support and solidarity we are getting from the South African people, the South African NGOs, the South African political parties, and the South African government. Uh, South African people we have their own history, their own trajectory, their own experience of the past. Because of what they have been through, they are sensitive to other people's plight. We are very grateful for that. We call them for more solidarity, more action, because the action of the citizens is what can bring the final solution of this situation.
Mm, no,
Sorry.
no. We're going to leave on that note, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining us.
very much.
Really,
Very
really
much.
appreciate it. And thank you for an insightful conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you and to your listeners.
There you go. Yeah, really interesting and very, very sobering conversation on Western Sahara. A conversation that I think we can all agree that we're not having it enough. It's not on mainstream media. It's not documented as much as you'd want it to. But yeah, there's still a colony right here in Africa. The people of Western Sahara are concentrated in Bantustan, a page out of South Africa's apartheid playbook, a page out of Israel's playbook. And the struggle continues. 50 years, people of Western Sahara have been exiled. 50 years of having a literal wall that is slicing through the ancestral lands. 50 years of a world looking away. While people will continue to remain trapped between occupation and oblivion. Folks, the Sahrawi people ask for what the UN has promised. The UN, the United Nations, the governing board of our continent, a referendum. Morocco responds with drones and not diplomacy. And as the world continues with silence, we must ask, when does a forgotten conflict start becoming a conscious choice, to abandon justice? We can only forget until we remember. So, to our listeners, the next time you interact with Morocco, there's Moroccan produce that's on our shelves now. There's fish coming out of Europe, which is plundered on Western Sahara's waters. Remember that every rand you spend funds this wall. Please, guys, look it up. There's a literal wall, that is, I don't know, the size or length of the Great Wall of China. It's around the same size, I think, in some proximity, whether it's width or length. But there's a literal wall, which cuts off the people of Western Sahara from their lands. This wall has bombs, booby traps. It has soldiers guiding it day in and day out. It's like the scene from like an Armageddon kind of movie, and I don't think we know enough about Western Sahara and the struggles of the people there, and that should be the mission now, as we try and make sense of the world, and we further understand that the struggles of all people is integrated. Doesn't matter whether they're in Palestine or they're here in Africa or any other part of the world. The struggle of an oppressed people is integrated, and you can't be vocal and loud about one while ignoring the other. It's an injustice. So yeah, we're going to take a quick break. News and views will continue, but a big thank you to Western Sahara's Foreign Minister, His Excellency Ambassador Mohamed Yeslem Beissat, for that eye-opening and insightful, sobering conversation. We're going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this.